Hey everybody, welcome back. For this video, I'm going to create a couple of dismissible banners. These are the types of banners that you see pop up on a website asking you to accept cookies or something like that. Generally, they pop up at the bottom of the website, you dismiss them, and you never see them again. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm using SAS here, so I'm going to start watching my SAS, and by doing that, SAS watch, and I have some folders over here where I'm going to be watching the SAS folder, and it's going to output to a CSS folder which hasn't been created yet. So SAS and then CSS, and you'll see that pop up there now. And now I have a style sheet that I can work inside of. I've linked that style sheet into my HTML, and I'm going to begin by just writing out the HTML for a single banner. Will contain everything inside of a container. And let's shrink this down a little bit. And inside that container, we'll do dot banner. And let's start with dot banner dot bottom. And then with an ID of banner. Okay, and then inside that banner, we have an H2. And we'll do you should eat my cookies. And then after that, we'll do a button. We'll give it an ID, dismiss banner, and yum. All right, so now we have our banner here, and now we're going to come down to our style sheet and style that up a little bit. So if you haven't played with SAS before, it's pretty fun, pretty easy to catch on to. Only took me a few weeks to really catch on to it, and I write a lot less CSS. In this particular tutorial, we're probably going to write just about as much SAS as we would CSS, but where SAS comes in better is when you have a lot of variables or mixins or functions to declare. Those don't get compiled to CSS. In this case, it's going to be pretty simple, but I always write in SAS nowadays. So let's do dot banner and let's set a background of yellow and some padding. And eventually you'll start seeing how all of this comes together. And before we go too far here, let's do box sizing, border box, and margin padding 0. Okay, so after the padding, let's do color. Make sure it stays black. Display, flex, align items, center, specify content. Let's do space evenly. And flex direction. Do column to start with. And let's move into kind of a smaller viewport here so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's go to 380, 375. All right, so, and that's what will help make this just a little bit responsive so that the words don't break with the button. Let's set the width to 100% and the Z index to all 9s. Set the position to fixed. Generally, these banners, if you're doing a modal, that's something different, but generally these banners will either pop up in a fixed position, either on the bottom or the top of your screen. And let's set a consistent position of left. All right, and since we are doing a bottom banner, okay, let's isolate that particular class. So we'll create a nested class in here of bottom, and we'll just do bottom 0. And now it's going to float down to the bottom of our page. Oh, I forgot my ampersand here. There. Now that'll float down to the bottom, and I can zoom in on that a little bit. Okay, and later on we'll do one for the top when we have to create multiple banners. Here, let's push this in a little bit. Bring this back down. Okay, now we'll just create a quick media query here to account for larger screen sizes. And let's go with flex direction row. And now if I go above 550, I have to stretch that out a little bit more. Well, let's go with 400 instead. There. Now when you go below 400, it breaks. Okay, that helps kind of keep it in a kind of a responsive format. Okay, but we'll keep working on this in this fashion. So next thing I need to do is style my button. So I'm all of this with Sass. It's all nested inside of this one class here. That's one great option about having Sass. Now, let's see, button, and let's set a border to 0, background to light blue, some padding, some letter spacing, and what else can we do? Font weight, 800, border radius 4 pixels, and let's also set transition. Well, and we'll add that to the hover. All 0.2 ease. And for the hover state, I go inside the button, hover. We'll change the background to dark blue, color to white, and the cursor pointer. Okay, just like that. So now when I hover over this, okay, you get a nice, easy transition. It's still kind of blinky. Oh, that's why I didn't put the S. Okay, it's kind of a soft hover, soft transition. And you can slow that down, speed it up if you want. All right, now let's, I forgot to do this before. Body. All right, and now the text is just a little bit more readable. I don't really like Times New Roman. All right, so now for our JavaScript. Okay, so what we are targeting here is we're targeting this particular ID of banner. So we come into our JS here, and we'll lower this down. And we need to find the banner. So let banner equal document.getElementById, and we're looking for that banner ID. Okay, so once we found the banner ID, then we need to target the let's see, this here. Yep. Sorry about that. We're going to target this button here. Basically, what we're going to do is when we click on this button that has this ID, then we're going to make the ID with banner disappear. Okay. So now let's dismiss banner dot add event listener. We're listening for a click event. Okay, and then we will stretch this out a little bit. Pull this back in. We're listening for a click event, comma, and we'll just do a simple anonymous arrow function. Banner dot style dot display equals none. Okay. And now if I click this banner, it will go away. Okay, just like that. Now I can reset it and it will return. Now, if I had properly set up this click event to store itself as a cookie, then and you can set that for a certain amount of time, like a day or 10 days or something like that, then this would not be able to return on click unless I cleared my cache or something like that. All right. So now, what if you want to have multiple banners on the page? Well, what do you do then? Well, and actually, before I go too far, there's another way that you can hide this banner instead of using this. You can create a class called hide, display none, and then you can come back into here and banner dot class list dot add equals oops hide. Okay, and then when we come in here, it will disappear. Okay, and then if you wanted to do multiple banners, okay, that works slightly different. You have to target all of the banners, and you have to loop through all of the banners that you find. We don't need the CSS anymore, so I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that style sheet there. And just so you're aware, these styles that we created, I wrote them all in Sass with nested buttons and hover state. But what comes out is this, exactly how the browser would read it, because the browser doesn't understand Sass. Okay, so in this case, we wrote 54 lines of CSS, and that outputted 51 lines of CSS, 54 lines of Sass, 51 lines of CSS. And then you can go further. You can minify that and make it a little bit more performant. But we don't need those for now. So now I'm going to comment these out. And let's go back into our HTML. And here, I'm just going to grab this. This one is on the bottom. I'm going to put this above it. And let's call it top. Now we don't need these IDs anymore. If we're going to be targeting all banners, and we're going to be using a DOM API called Query Selector All, we don't need to get all of them. Now, this one says top, and let's change this up a little bit. Okay, just so we have two different working banners here. And we're not targeting a specific banner, we're targeting all banners. Now we do need to go back into our style sheet real quick. I closed that a little bit too soon. And we need to do at top, to set top to 0. Okay, and now the appropriate banner will be at the top. Now in our JavaScript, since we're targeting all of the banners, okay, here we're going to target all of them by let banners equal document dot query selector all, and we're looking for all of those banners, and it needs a class. Now for all of the banners, okay, we're going to do a for each. Okay, this is a loop, and we're going to target each one of them. So for each banner, we're going to target it, and we're going to add an event listener, listening for a click. And on each one, we'll do banner dot class list dot add hide, like that. Okay. And now when you come over here, you can dismiss one and dismiss the other. It could be in any particular order that you want. But essentially, that's how you can create and dismiss a single banner, or create multiple banners and dismiss them individually using just a little bit of JavaScript, some CSS, and your HTML. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more. I will have more videos coming every week. Take care. We'll see you next time.